I'm gonna tell you something that happened to me, and I swear it's all true. I don't really like talking about it because it still messes with my head. But here we go. I'm just some guy, okay? Work a boring job. Nothing special. Let's just call me, Jake. Yeah, Jake works. I'm not much of a storyteller, but this thing's been eating at me, so I gotta get it out. This whole thing went down about a year ago, and I still can't figure it out. It was super late. Like 3 a.m. late. I'd been over at my cousin's place a couple towns over, just hanging out, playing video games till way too late. You know how it is. We were deep into some old school racing game, and I lost track of time. I was driving home, half asleep, just trying to keep my eyes open. My car's old, rattles a bit, and I was blasting some random podcast about aliens or whatever to stay awake. Oh, and I forgot to fill up the tank before I left. Dumb move, I know. Anyway, I'm on the interstate, right? Middle of nowhere, no cars around. The road was dead quiet, just the hum of my engine and the occasional whoosh of a passing truck. I was zoning out, thinking about how I'd have to wake up early for work the next day. Then my GPS pipes up, rerouting to avoid traffic. I'm like, traffic? At 3 a.m.? What's this thing smoking? But I don't question it too much because I'm tired, and it's been right before. So, it tells me to take this exit onto some dirt road I've never even noticed. I shrug and turn off. The second I hit that road, it's rough. Like, really rough. The transition was jarring. 1 second, smooth asphalt. The next, my teeth were rattling from the bumps. I slowed down, but it didn't help much. My car's bouncing all over, and I'm muttering to myself, this better not mess up my tires. It's dark as hell out there, headlights barely cutting through it. The air felt different here, thicker somehow, like it was pressing in on me. I cracked the window, but all I got was the smell of damp earth and something metallic. I start seeing these creepy old barns, all falling apart, and rusted farm stuff just sitting there. No lights anywhere, not a single house. It's weird, you know? Quiet in a way that doesn't feel right. So I keep going, maybe 20 minutes, and I check my phone. No signal. Nada. I'm thinking, okay, that's annoying. But the GPS is still talking, calm as ever. Continue straight for 47 miles. I blink at it. 47 miles? On this dirt road? No way that's right. I laugh a little, nervous-like, and say out loud, you serious right now? The road starts getting tighter. Trees are everywhere, branches scraping my car. Screech, screech. And it's loud enough to make me jump. I'm gripping the wheel, starting to feel off. Not scared yet, just unsettled. I try to find a spot to turn around, but it's too narrow. Every time I think I see a wider bit, the GPS yells, "Recalculating," and points me right back down the same road. I'm like, come on man, let me out of here. Then, I see them. Cameras. These weird little cameras stuck on telephone poles, all aimed down at the road. At me. At first I thought they were just reflectors or something, but then I saw the lenses. They were small, black, and definitely cameras. One of them had a tiny red light blinking, like it was recording. My chest gets tight. Who the hell puts cameras out here? There's nothing to watch. I mutter, this ain't right, this ain't right. And I glance at my fuel gauge, almost empty. My brain's screaming, you're screwed, dude. 'Cause I can't even remember the last gas station. I'm freaking out now, okay? Heart's going a million miles an hour. I finally spot a wider patch and start turning the car around. That's when my headlights hit this sign, big, metal, rusted at the edges. It says, private property, authorized vehicles only, deadly force authorized. Deadly force? Like guns? My mind raced. Who puts a sign like that in the middle of nowhere? Was this some kind of military area or a cult compound? I didn't want to find out. I freeze for a second, just staring at it. Then I slam the car into reverse and peel out, dirt flying everywhere. The GPS keeps going, recalculating, like it's mad at me. I don't stop till I'm back on the interstate, shaking like a leaf. I didn't stop shaking until I saw the lights of a 24-hour diner. I pulled in, ordered a coffee I didn't drink, just to be around people. My podcast was still playing, some guy rambling about UFOs, and it felt so stupid compared to what just happened. Oh, and, my sister's old flip-flops were in the back seat. Random, I know, but I kept kicking them while I drove, annoyed they were even there. Here's the kicker, though. For months after that, months, every time I used my GPS, it'd try to send me back to that road. Didn't matter where I was going. I'd be headed to the store, and it's like, turn left in 5 miles to Creepy Dirt Road. I chucked that phone eventually, and got a new one. Still don't know what was down there. Cameras, that sign. Who does that? I never told my cousin about it. He'd probably laugh, say I was being paranoid. But I know what I saw, and I'm not taking that road again, GPS or no GPS. I gotta tell you about something weird that happened to me. It's been eating at me for a while now. I'm nobody special, okay? Just some dude who stacks boxes at a warehouse all day. Anyway, this was like, I don't know, maybe 6 months back. I was at my friend's house, just kicking back, watching some stupid movie. Think it was about killer clowns or something. I'd popped a sleeping pill earlier because I've been sleeping like crap lately. Totally forgot I had to drive home. Dumb move, I know. So, I'm on the road, right? And halfway home, I start feeling heavy. Like my eyelids are fighting to stay up. I'm not an idiot. I know I can't drive like that. So I pull over, just off the highway, to nap for a bit. Figured I'd wake up fresh in like 20 minutes. But, when I open my eyes, it's been 4 hours. And I'm not on the side of the road anymore. My car's parked in this random driveway, engine still humming. I swear I turned it off before I passed out. Then I noticed the mud. My tires are caked in it, and the bottom of my car looks like I drove through a swamp. I check myself, and my jeans are filthy. Got these little scratches on my arms too. No clue how that happened. This house I'm at, it's big, kinda old, and every light's blazing inside. I see shadows moving around like people pacing or something. I'm freaking out a little, so I get out and stumble to the door. Knock a couple times. Nothing. I can hear voices inside, low, muffled, but nobody comes. It's like they're pretending I'm not there. I'm standing there feeling dumb when this guy pops out from the house next door. He's got this creepy smirk, like he knows something I don't. He goes, "Back for more, huh?" I'm like, "Well, what? What are you talking about?" He just chuckles, shakes his head and walks off. My heart's pounding now. Back for more what? I've never been here in my life. At least, I don't think so. I jump back in my car and peel out of there, driving home way too fast. My hands are shaking the whole way. When I finally crash into bed, I just want to forget it. But next morning, oh man. I go to check my car, and there's a shovel in the trunk. Not mine. I don't even own one. It's got fresh dirt all over it, like someone just dug a hole. I'm losing it now. Then I grab my phone. Bunch of missed calls from numbers I don't know. There's a voicemail too. I play it, and it's just crying. No words, just this awful sobbing. I nearly dropped the phone. Creepiest thing I've ever heard. After that, I said no more sleeping pills. Couldn't risk that again. But, it's not over. Some mornings, I wake up and there's dirt under my nails. No idea how it gets there. I live in this old apartment, right? The windows rattle when the wind's bad, and it freaks me out every time now. Makes me think something's trying to get in. I keep wondering what I did in those 4 hours I can't remember. Did I don't know, hurt someone? Dig something up? I try not to think about it, but it's always there, in the back of my head. Oh, random thing. My neighbor's got this yappy little dog that barks at nothing all night. Used to just annoy me, but now it makes me jumpy as hell. Every sound does. Anyway, that's the story. I don't know what happened. Maybe I was sleepwalking or something crazy, but the shovel? The crying? That's not normal. It's messed up, man. I don't know. This thing happened to me a while ago, and I still don't like thinking about it. I'm just some dude, you know? Work a boring job, drive an old beat-up car. Let's call me, I don't know, Jake. Yeah, Jake's fine. I don't usually tell people this stuff, but it's been eating at me. It was late, like way past midnight, and I just wanted to get home. I'd been at my cousin's place, playing video games and eating too many chips. Left around 1 a.m. I was driving down this empty highway, yawning like crazy. My eyes were heavy, and I had to pee so bad it hurt. I remembered this 24-hour rest stop up ahead. Figured I'd stop there, use the bathroom, grab a coffee. Maybe one of those little snack cakes if they had any. I pulled in, and right away, it felt quiet. Too quiet. There were a couple trucks parked, but no one around. Just the hum of the lights and the wind. I parked close to the door and went inside. The place smelled like old fries and cleaning stuff. I hit the bathroom first. Man, the tiles were sticky, like someone spilled soda and never mopped it up. Anyway, I came out feeling better and went to get coffee. The pot was on, steaming, but the counter was empty. No clerk. The register was open though, with cash just sitting there. Weird, right? And there was this sandwich on the counter, half eaten, like someone took a bite and bolted. "Hey, anybody here?" I called out. My voice sounded small. No answer. Just this faint radio static from somewhere. I looked around, and that's when I saw the security cameras. All three of them, pointing straight down at the floor. Not the door, not the counter, the floor. Who does that? My hands got all sweaty holding the coffee cup. I didn't like it. Then I smelled it. Bleach. Super strong. Like someone dumped a whole bottle in the back room. It hit me hard, made my nose sting. I thought maybe the clerk was cleaning or something, but I don't know. It didn't feel right. And then, God, this still freaks me out. I heard it. This quiet, muffled crying, like someone trying not to be heard. It was coming from the back, behind that bleach smell. I froze. Should I check it out? What if someone's hurt? But then I was like, nah, this ain't my problem. It's late, I'm tired, and this place is creeping me out. I decided to leave, threw some money on the counter, probably too much, but whatever, and headed for the door. My shoes squeaked on the floor, loud in the silence. When I got to my car, I saw it. A note under my windshield wiper. I didn't see anyone put it there. My heart started thumping. I grabbed it, hands shaking, and opened it. It said in this messy scribble, "You weren't supposed to see that. Drive straight home. Don't stop. Don't look back." What the heck? See what? The sandwich, the cameras, the crying. I looked around. Nothing. Just dark trees and those parked trucks. I jumped in my car, locked the doors fast, started it up, and as I pulled out, I couldn't help it. I checked the rearview mirror. That's when I saw them. Figures, maybe 3, coming out of the woods behind the rest stop. They were dragging something. Big, heavy shapes. Looked like body bags. I swear, my chest got tight, like I couldn't breathe. I floored it, tires screeching, and didn't stop till I got home. I sat in my driveway forever, just gripping the wheel. Thought about calling the cops right then, but I was like, what do I even say? I saw some spooky stuff. Sounded dumb. Plus, my dog was barking like crazy when I walked in. Guess I forgot to feed him before I left. Anyway, I didn't sleep that night. Kept hearing that crying in my head, smelling that bleach. Next day, I called the police. Told them everything. The guy on the phone sounded like he didn't care at first, But then he goes, "That rest stop? Been shut down for months. Health code stuff. Owner's been missing since then too." I just sat there, phone in my hand, feeling sick. Missing? Closed? Then what was I in? I still dream about it. The empty store, that note, those figures. Sometimes I wake up and swear I smell bleach on my pillow. And the crying, it's like it's stuck in my ears. I don't drive that road anymore. Can't. Every time I pass a rest stop, I keep my eyes straight ahead. I don't want to know what I saw, or what saw me. My name is Jake. I'm 15 now, but this happened last year. I'd just started at this new school, and I didn't really know many people yet. Then I met Connor in math class. He was chill, knew all the good video games, had this loud laugh that made everyone turn around. So when he asked me to come over for a sleepover, I was like, yeah, awesome. First time at his place too. I got there around 5, I think. His house looked normal, like those boring suburban ones you see everywhere, with a little grass patch out front. But when I walked in, it was, I don't know, weird. All the curtains were shut tight, even though the sun was still out. Connor's mom met me at the door and was all smiley, but she said right away, "Don't open the curtains or unlock any doors, okay? It's just a house rule." I nodded, but it felt kinda strict for no reason. Inside, it was so quiet. Like, too quiet. The air smelled old, musty, like my grandma's attic where she keeps all those dusty boxes. There were these old photos on the walls, all faded and yellow, people in weird clothes from forever ago. Connor's dad was in the living room, just sitting there with a newspaper. He barely looked up, just grunted when I said hi. Nice people, I guess, but they kept saying stuff about locking doors, like over and over. We had pizza for dinner. Connor's mom made us sit at the table, which I thought was dumb, because me and my brother always eat on the couch at home. She even made us wash the plates after, super picky about it. Connor rolled his eyes behind her back, and I laughed a little. Later, we went to his room to play games. He had 2 TVs. 2? Pretty sweet setup. But sometimes I'd catch him staring at the window, even with the curtains closed. "What's up?" I asked once. "Nothing, just checking," he said, real quick. Okay, whatever. His room was tiny. There was this ugly green rug that smelled like wet dog, even though they didn't have one. Oh, and in the hall, I saw this door with a padlock on it. "What's that?" I asked. "Basement," he said. "Parents keep it locked because it's full of junk." But the lock looked shiny, brand new, not like some rusty old thing. We set up sleeping bags around midnight. I was out fast. Guess the pizza made me sleepy. But then I woke up, like 2 a.m. or something, because I had to pee so bad. I looked over, and Connor's sleeping bag was empty. I waited a bit, thinking he'd come back from the bathroom, but nothing. So I got up. The floor creaked loud, like how my cat used to make the stairs groan at night. Bathroom was empty. Then I heard it, scrubbing, real soft from the kitchen. I crept down the hall. It was dark, just this weak light bulb flickering. I peeked around the corner, and there's Connor, on his knees, scrubbing the floor with a brush, yellow gloves on his hands, and these red stains all over the tiles. My chest got tight. Connor? What are you doing?" He jumped, like, legit flinched. "Oh, Jake. Hey, I spilled cranberry juice. No big deal. Go back to sleep. I'll be there soon." But that smell. It wasn't juice. It was sharp, like when you nick your finger with a knife. I just stood there, blinking, not sure what to say. "You scared me, dude," he laughed, but it sounded fake. I mumbled okay and shuffled back. I climbed into my sleeping bag, but I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing him scrub, scrub. Then he came back, all casual, like, Sorry man, let's crash. I faked it, eyes shut, but my brain wouldn't stop. And then, maybe I imagined it. I heard whispering somewhere in the house. Low, like people trying not to wake you up. I yanked the sleeping bag over my head, heart pounding. Morning came, and it was like nothing happened. Connor's parents were all chipper, asking, "Sleep good?" I lied, said yeah. Ate some cereal, grabbed my stuff, and bolted. Walking home, I saw these posters on poles. Missing kid, local teen, gone 3 days. I stopped, looked close, and oh man, it was that guy Connor called his cousin. Met him last week, quiet kid, just hung out for a bit. Connor said he was visiting. But the poster, 3 days missing? My hands got shaky. I never went back. Tried asking Connor at school, all casual like, "Hey, your cousin okay?" He laughed, too loud, and said, "Yeah, he went home." 2 weeks later, he was gone. Transferred schools, no goodbye. I didn't tell my parents or anyone. Kept thinking, maybe it was juice, maybe I'm crazy. But that smell, that lock, those posters. Nah, something was wrong. I still hear that scrubbing in my head sometimes, late at night. Wonder what I'd have seen if I'd stayed longer. Glad I didn't. I'm not great at this storytelling stuff, but I gotta tell you about this one night. It still messes with me. I was 15, okay? Me and my 3 best friends, Emma, Lily, and Mia, were having a sleepover at my house. It was just a normal Friday, you know? We were all crashed out in the living room with sleeping bags, munching on chips, talking about dumb stuff like school and boys. It got late, like midnight or something, and Emma, she's always the one starting trouble, goes, "Let's play truth or dare." I was like, "Fine, whatever." We were laughing, daring each other to do stupid things, like text a crush or eat a spoonful of hot sauce. Then Emma looks at me, smirking, and says, "I dare you to sneak into your parents' room and snap a pic of them sleeping." I laughed like, "That's so weird, dude." But they all kept pushing me. "Come on, don't be a chicken." So I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight, and went upstairs. The hallway was dark. Like, super dark. And quiet. Except for the floor creaking every step I took. I swear it sounded louder than usual. Like when my little brother used to run around jumping on them during the day. I got to my parents' door and, I don't know, I hesitated. Felt kinda off, but I shook it off and pushed the door open real slow. I shined my light on their bed and nothing. It was empty, like not messed up or anything, just flat, sheets all neat, like nobody had been there. My stomach dropped a little. I thought, okay, maybe they're in the bathroom or something? I checked. Nobody. I even whispered, "Mom? Dad?" Nothing. Just dead silence. I stood there for a sec, shining the light around, but it was just me and that creepy quiet. I went back downstairs, kind of freaked out. "Guys," I said, "my parents aren't up there." Emma frowned and goes, "What?" "They said goodnight to us like an hour ago." Lily nodded. "Yeah, I saw them head upstairs after we started the movie." I just shrugged. "Well, they're not there now." Mia laughed, all nervous-like, and said, "Maybe they ditched us for a party or something." We all kind of chuckled, but it didn't feel funny. It was almost 1 a.m. Where would they even go? We kept playing for a bit, but I couldn't focus. The house felt, I don't know, too still? Like the air was heavy or something. And every few minutes, I'd hear this faint thump from upstairs. Like a book falling off a shelf, maybe? I told myself it was nothing, just the house being old, but it kept happening. Thump. Thump. I didn't say anything to the girls. They'd just call me paranoid. Around 2, we finally crashed. I was half asleep when I heard tires crunching on the driveway. I peeked out the window. My parents' car. They got out, looking all tired and normal, and came inside. I pretended to be asleep when they poked their heads in. I heard my mom whisper something like, "Back from the work thing." And they went upstairs. Work thing? At 2 a.m.? Next morning, I asked them about it. My mom smiled all casual and said, "Oh, we had an emergency work trip. Left around 11 last night. Sorry we didn't tell you." I stared at her. "But you said goodnight to us at 10, I remember." My dad laughed. "Nah, kiddo, we were out the door after dinner. You were probably distracted." But that wasn't right. My friends heard it too, the goodnight thing. I didn't push it though. What was I gonna say? Later that day, after my friends left, I was messing with my phone, just scrolling, and I saw this video I didn't recognize. The little preview was just black. I hit play. It was my parents' room, the empty bed, my flashlight moving around. Same as last night. But then, voices. Far off, kinda muffled, like through a wall. Someone yelling, all mad, and then, God, this part gets me. Someone begging, like pleading, scared out of their mind. I froze. Checked the time on it, 11:47 p.m. But I was downstairs then. We were still playing the game. I didn't go up till after midnight. I showed my parents. My dad squinted at it and goes, "Huh, maybe your phone messed up, or your friends pranked you." But they didn't. I asked them. They didn't touch my phone. And those voices, none of us sound like that. I deleted the video. Couldn't stand it sitting there. My parents never brought it up again, and I didn't either. But sometimes, when I'm home alone, I hear those thumps upstairs, and I think about that yelling, that begging. Who was it? Where were my parents really that night? I don't know. And honestly, I don't think I want to find out. I need to tell you about this sleepover at Madison's house. It was messed up. Like, seriously creepy. We were all 14, I think. Me, Madison, Ava, and Sophie. Madison's place looked normal, you know? 2 floors, white fence, boring suburban stuff. Her parents were okay, but kinda strict, I guess. They took these pills that knocked them out at night. Madison always said they wouldn't wake up if the roof caved in. We were chilling in the living room, arguing over movies. Sophie was all, "Let's watch something cute." But Ava was like, "Nah, scary or nothing." We picked a horror flick, but it sucked. Super boring. Oh, and Sophie forgot her phone charger, so she kept whining about her battery dying. Anyway, Ava got antsy and goes, "Hey, let's check out the basement." Madison's eyes got big. No way. My parents said never go down there. But Ava wouldn't drop it. They're out cold. Come on. We bugged Madison till she caved. So we grabbed our phones, flashlights on, and tiptoed to the basement door. It squeaked so loud I thought we were busted. But nothing. Just the fridge humming upstairs. We went down, and it was dark, dusty, all old junk in boxes. Creepy, yeah, but we were laughing, messing around. Sophie jumped out from behind a chair like, "Boo!" And Ava nearly dropped her phone. Dumb stuff like that. Then Ava spotted this bookshelf. It looked wrong, you know? Out of place. She pushed it, and it slid, like in a movie. Behind it, this tiny door, maybe 3 feet tall. We all just stared. Madison goes, real quiet, I didn't know that was there." My heart was pounding, but we crawled in anyway. Inside was this little room, like a closet, but full of kids' stuff. Toys, old clothes, drawings all over the walls. Crayon scribbles, signed with names like Timmy, Sarah, Bobby. Weird, 'cause Madison's an only kid. No brothers, no cousins, nothing. One drawing had a family. Mom, Dad, 2 kids. But Madison's family? Just 3 people. My hands got all shaky holding my phone. Sophie found this journal under a mattress. Old, falling apart, yellow pages. She flipped it open, and it was entries. From different kids, years apart. Stuff like, "The nice family upstairs gave me a teddy bear. Or, I miss my mom. Some kid wrote, I want to play outside, but they won't let me. The last one? 6 months ago. I think they're getting tired of me. I heard them talking about the lake. I couldn't breathe right after that. We went dead quiet. Madison's face was white, like she'd seen a ghost. What is this? She whispered. Ava tried to laugh it off. Maybe they fostered kids or something? Madison shook her head hard. Number. They never said anything about that. I kept looking at those drawings, those names. Something felt bad. Really bad. Then, thump. A noise upstairs, like a door shutting. We freaked, scrambled out, shoved the bookshelf back and bolted up the stairs. They creaked so loud I thought we'd wake the whole neighborhood. We hit the kitchen and Madison's parents were there, just standing, smiling. Her mom goes, "Hey girls, find anything interesting downstairs?" All calm, like it was nothing. I froze. Madison stuttered. No, just looking for chips." Her dad laughed, real soft. "Next time ask us, okay?" Their smiles. They were too big, too still, like masks or something. We mumbled yeah, and ran back to the living room. Nobody slept. We just sat there, TV on, not watching it. Sophie kept picking at her nails, and Ava wouldn't look at anyone. We didn't talk about it. Couldn't. Morning came, we grabbed our stuff and left. Madison never asked us over again. A few months later, she was gone. Moved away. No goodbye. Nothing. I still think about it, you know? Late at night, when it's quiet. Those toys, the drawings, that journal. Who were those kids? What happened to them? The lake. What did that mean? And her parents. Why'd they have that room? I don't know. I don't think I want to know. But sometimes, I hear that fridge hum in my head, or the stairs creaking, and it gets to me. Still does. I'm going to tell you about something that happened to me back in my sophomore year at State University. It's messed me up, honestly, and I still don't get it all. I was just a regular student, you know, stuck in this tough organic chemistry class. One night, I was in the lab, late, around 11 p.m., trying to finish up some dumb experiment. The place was empty, just me and those buzzing lights. Kinda smelled like bleach or something. And the metal tables were freezing when I brushed against them. I was shoving my stuff into my bag when, bam, this scream hit me. Not a normal yell, but this awful, panicked sound coming from the research lab next door. I froze for a sec, heart pounding, then bolted over there. Pushed the door open and saw Marcus, my lab partner, on the floor. He was shaking bad, like a seizure or something, with these gross chemical burns all over his arms and face. Red, peeling, it was nasty. Derek, the grad student who ran our lab, was there too, freaking out, wiping up some spilled stuff with a wad of paper towels. "Call 911!" Derek shouted, all wild-eyed. I yanked out my phone, hands shaky, but then he lunged at me, grabbed my wrist. "No, wait, stop. We gotta handle this differently." I was like, "What?" "He's dying, dude." But Derek just shook his head, muttering, "You don't get it." He pulled out his phone, dialed someone, and started whispering stuff like, "It happened again, containment, liability crap." I stood there, dumbstruck, while Marcus was still groaning on the floor. Then, get this, 2 guys in suits showed up. Not cops, not medics, just these stiff-looking dudes. Took maybe 5 minutes, way too quick. They didn't even talk, just hauled Marcus onto a stretcher and carried him out. I followed them a bit, saw them head to the back exit. No flashing lights, no ambulance, just this creepy black van waiting there. Derek came up behind me, all chill now, which was weird. Handed me this envelope and said, "Here, take it." Inside, $2,000 in cash and some paper saying I wasn't in the lab that night. "Sign it," he told me, voice flat. Keeps things simple. I didn't know what to do, so I signed it, stuffed the cash in my pocket. Derek locked the lab door, gave me this hard stare, like, shut up about it, and left. Next day, I went to class, expecting people to be freaking out, but nothing. Everyone acted normal, like it was just another Tuesday. I asked a couple people about Marcus. "Hey, you seen Marcus around?" They just blinked at me. "Who's Marcus?" one guy said, frowning. I pulled up a photo on my phone, me and Marcus, chilling at a coffee shop a few weeks back. But looking at it, I don't know, it felt weird, like his face wasn't right anymore. I swung by his dorm after. Door was open, room totally empty. Not just moved out empty, but scrubbed, like no one ever lived there. The RA was down the hall and I asked him, "Yo, what happened to the guy in 304? He shrugged. "Been empty all year, man. You okay?" My chest got tight. I'd been in that room last week, eating pizza and watching Marcus lose at Mario Kart. Tried his phone. Rang once, then voicemail. Not even his voice, just that robot one. I left a message. "Hey, Marcus, you good? Call me." But I knew he wouldn't. He was gone. Went to the registrar's office, feeling desperate. "Can you check on a student? Marcus, I don't know his last name, but he's in my class." The lady typed for a sec, then said, "No record of any Marcus here. Ever." I wanted to scream. I had proof, pictures, texts. But it was like he'd been wiped out. That night I couldn't sleep. My apartment was too quiet. Every creak from the old wooden floor made me jump. My roommate's dog kept whining at the window, even though nothing was out there. I kept smelling that chemical stink too, like it was stuck in my nose. The cash and that paper, still got 'em sitting in my desk drawer. Haven't touched the money, feels wrong, you know? Those photos of Marcus, I scroll through them sometimes, but they're creepy now. His smile looks off, blurry almost. And sometimes, swear to God, I hear that scream again, faint, like it's stuck in my head. I don't know what they did to him, or why. Derek? The suits? The university? No clue. But I feel like someone's keeping tabs on me, waiting for me to slip up and talk. I think about telling someone, but who'd buy this? Sounds nuts, right? So I just keep quiet, act like it's fine. But it's not. Something's really, really wrong. My name is Alex. When I got my dorm assignment freshman year, I was pretty pumped. New start, you know? I'd been stuck at home all summer, so moving into this big campus felt huge. The housing office said my roommate was a senior, Tyler. I was like, wait, a senior? That's random. Usually it's two freshmen together. But I figured, maybe he's a transfer or something. Tyler was fine at first. Quiet guy. Always hunched over his desk, scribbling in notebooks. I'd say hi, try to chat, but he'd just nod or mutter, "Hey," and keep going. His side of the room was neat though, weirdly neat. But then I started picking up on stuff. He never left during the day, like not once. Only at night. I'd hear him shuffle out around midnight, door clicking shut, and he'd be back by morning. And his stuff? It smelled like hospital. You know, that sharp, clean smell? Antiseptic, I guess. Saw some medical junk too. Tubes, little metal tools. But I didn't ask. Didn't want to seem rude. I started feeling off around him, like one night I woke up, pitch black, and I heard him talking, mumbling, real low. Couldn't catch the words, but it made my skin crawl. I stayed still, pretending to sleep. Another time, I swear he was standing by my bed, just watching. I blinked, and he was back under his covers, out cold. I told myself it was nothing. Probably just tired. Midterms were coming, and I hadn't done laundry in forever, so I was down to my last pair of socks. But then, God, this still messes me up. One night, I jolted awake, and there he was, Tyler, standing over me with a freaking syringe in his hand. I froze, heart slamming in my chest. "Dude, what are you doing?" I stammered. He jumped back, all shaky, and goes, "Oh, sorry man, I'm diabetic, just fixing my insulin." He wouldn't look at me, just stuffed the syringe in a drawer. I wanted to believe him, really did, but his voice was all wrong, too nervous. I barely slept after that. Next day, I started crashing at my friend Jake's place down the hall. His roommate didn't care, and their room had this old rug that smelled like pizza, but it beat being near Tyler. I'd only go back to grab stuff, books, clothes, whatever. Tyler'd be there, acting normal, but I'd catch him staring sometimes. Those eyes, man. Too focused. Then one afternoon, I came back, and there were these security guys in our room, packing up Tyler's stuff, quick and quiet. I was like, what's happening? One of them, this big guy with a buzz cut, goes, "Clerical error. Tyler wasn't supposed to be here." I blinked. "What do you mean?" He handed me some papers. "He's from the medical research facility, a patient. Got mixed up with student housing." My jaw dropped. "A patient? Like, what kind?" He just shrugged. "Sign this. We're moving you to a new room. Don't talk about it." I was too stunned to argue. Scribbled my name, grabbed my stuff. They were gone in 10 minutes. I moved that day. New room was fine, but I couldn't shake it. What was Tyler? Why me? A week later, I was by the vending machine. It was always out of those BBQ chips I liked. When I ran into this janitor, Joe. Old guy, always sweeping the halls. I asked, half joking, "Hey, you know anything about my old roommate, Tyler?" He stopped, looked around, then leaned in close. "Heard he was in some program. For people with head problems, you know? Serious stuff. They were testing if he could act normal around regular kids." I stared. "Wait, so I was, what, part of it?" Joe nodded slow. "Sounds like it. Didn't tell you, huh?" I felt my throat tighten. Number. They didn't. After that, I was a mess. Kept replaying it all. Tyler's mumbles, that syringe, those night stares. What was he gonna do? And the university just let him live with me? Like I was some lab rat? I started double-checking my lock every night. Once, I heard footsteps outside my door. Turned out to be some drunk guy stumbling home, but I still flipped out. I never saw Tyler again. Don't know where he went. Joe said the research building's got locked floors you need special keys for. Makes me wonder what else is down there. Sometimes, I catch that hospital smell randomly, like in the stairwell, and it hits me all over again. What if I hadn't woken up that night? What if he'd... I don't know. I don't want to know. I gotta get this off my chest, okay? It's about something that started back in my sophomore year. I got this email one day about a scholarship, the Blackwood Academic Excellence Program. It was unreal. Full tuition, a place to live, even some cash every month. All I had to do was join their special research projects. Sounded like a dream, you know? But, it's not what I thought. They didn't mess around with the selection stuff. There were all these tests, psych evaluations, medical checkups, and talks with these professors I'd never even seen around campus. I figured it was just because it was a big deal. They picked 25 of us and we got moved to this residential place away from everyone else. The facility was tucked away at the edge of the campus, surrounded by dense woods that seemed to swallow any sound. At night, the silence was deafening, broken only by the occasional creak of the old building, or the distant howl of wind through the trees. The halls were dimly lit, with lights that flickered unpredictably, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Sometimes, I'd catch a glimpse of movement out of the corner of my eye, but when I turned, there was nothing there. It made me jumpy, always feeling like someone was watching me. Our days were packed. Classes from morning till evening, then study time after. No leaving unless they said so. And they watched our internet like hawks. I met some cool people there, though. We'd joke about the workload over burnt coffee from the machine in the lounge. But even they started acting weird after a while. One girl, Sarah, who used to be really outgoing, became withdrawn and paranoid. She'd whisper to me in the library, saying she thought the professors were listening to our conversations. Another guy, Mike, started having night terrors, screaming in his sleep about being trapped in a lab. We tried to support each other, but the fear was palpable, and trust was hard to come by. The classes were weird. Stuff like brain science and how to mess with people's heads. Not normal college junk. The professors had these cold, emotionless expressions, like they were hiding something. We had to sign papers promising not to talk about it. I didn't think much of it then, just happy to be picked. But I started noticing things, like the floorboards in my room squeaked every time someone passed by at night. Same time, every night. I'd lie awake, heart pounding, wondering who was out there. A few months in, things got strange. Some of the others changed. They could remember everything, spot patterns in seconds, even talk people into stuff effortlessly. The professors said it was the learning protocols working. But then, people who asked too many questions, or tried to quit, got sick. Real bad. Seizures, hallucinations, acting like someone else. I'd see him in the halls, pale and shaky, and I'd just look away. One night, I woke up, and my roommate was staring at me in the dark, eyes locked on mine. I mumbled, "Dude, what's up?" He whispered, "They're watching us," then rolled over and slept. I didn't sleep after that. Another time, I found a crumpled note under my pillow. "Don't trust anyone." No idea who wrote it. I started suspecting everyone. The treatment sessions were the worst. They'd strap me into a chair, attach electrodes to my head, and hit me with flashing lights, loud noises, sometimes electric shocks. Each session left me drained, disoriented, like my mind was being rewired. I'd have memory gaps or recall things that never happened. Conversations with strangers. It was terrifying, not knowing what was real. One evening, I sneaked into the administrative office, heart pounding. I picked the lock with a paperclip and found files on us. Medical histories, psych profiles, notes on our progress. There were documents about Project Blackwood, mentioning cognitive enhancement and behavioral modification. Some pages hinted at past students who'd disappeared or suffered breakdowns. It was chilling. It crashed down when I called my mom. She mentioned progress reports and photos of me in classes I never took. I dug deeper. The program wasn't part of the school. It was an experiment, funded by shadowy government types with too much power. I couldn't leave. They wouldn't let me. Finally, I snapped. I stormed into Professor Hayes's office, trembling with rage. "What are you doing to us?" I shouted. He smiled coldly. "You signed the contract. You knew what you were getting into." I threatened to expose them. His face darkened. "You won't get far. We have eyes everywhere." That night, I tried to escape, but security guards caught me, dragged me back, and locked me in. The next day, they put me through an extra-long session. I woke up unable to remember my name for hours, like my identity was slipping away. He'd said, "You're part of something bigger now. Embrace it." But I'm losing myself piece by piece. Every day I feel less like me, more like a puppet. I don't know how long I can hold on. If you're reading this, please, don't join the Blackwood program. It's not worth your soul. Spread the word. Save yourselves. And if you can, save me too. Footsteps. Gotta go. Be careful. This happened when I was a junior in high school, and I keep thinking about it now that I'm older. Maybe someone can tell me if it was as messed up as I think it was. Our history teacher, Mrs. Rodriguez, got really sick. Hospitalized sick. The principal told us she'd be out for a few weeks. No big deal. Substitutes come and go all the time. Then Mr. Henderson showed up. He seemed normal at first. Quiet guy, maybe in his 40s. Same brown jacket every day. Old leather briefcase that looked like it belonged in the 80s. But he had this way of watching us. Not like a teacher. Like he was studying us. The weird stuff started in the second week. He stopped following Mrs. Rodriguez's lesson plan and gave us strange assignments instead. Photocopied sheets with crooked text, like from an old machine. Character development research, he called it. The first one was simple. Describe your daily routine. Wake up. Time. How you got to school. After-class habits. It felt like a lazy assignment, but easy enough. Then the questions got specific. Where do you live? What does your house look like? Do you have siblings? When do your parents get home? Do you walk home alone? What route do you take? One day, I raised my hand and asked, "Why do we need to write about my little sister's schedule?" He looked up, and I swear his eyes lit up. Then he smiled. Not a teacher smile. Something else. Character development research, he repeated. Understanding. Family dynamics helps us analyze historical figures better. It didn't make sense, but I was 16. What did I know? The assignments kept coming. He wanted floor plans of our homes. To understand historical living spaces. Then, descriptions of our bedrooms. Include photos, if possible. Personal. Space psychology project. My friend Jake leaned over one day and whispered, "Dude, this is getting weird." I agreed. It was weird. But here's what really got to me. Mr. Henderson started staying after school. Not grading or helping students. Just sitting in his car, watching. My mom was usually late picking me up, so I saw him a lot. Same spot. Every day. Silver Honda Civic near the back of the lot, jotting things in a notebook as kids walked by. Once, I saw him following the Patterson twins' bus, driving slowly, keeping his distance. I wanted to say something, but say what? That our sub was creepy? Adults don't listen to that kind of thing. By the third week, the questions got even worse. What were our parents' work schedules? Exact times? Did we have alarms at home? Were our neighbors gone during the day? Were we ever home alone? Every time I walked into class, my stomach twisted. But I kept doing the assignments. We all did. He was still our teacher, right? Then something happened I'll never forget. One night, I stayed late for drama club rehearsal. It ended around 5:30. The parking lot was almost empty, but Mr. Henderson's car was still there. I ducked behind a bus and watched. He was on the phone, papers spread on his dashboard. Our papers. Our assignments. I could hear a bit of what he was saying. Stuff like schedules, opportunities, and the girl with the sick grandmother. That was me. I'd written about my grandmother in one of those assignments. I felt sick. My hands shook as I ran to the other side of the school and called my mom from there. The next Monday, Mrs. Rodriguez was back. No warning, no explanation, no goodbye from Mr. Henderson. He was just gone. I went up to Mrs. Rodriguez after class and asked, "What happened to the substitute?" She blinked. "Substitute? Honey, we never had a substitute. I was only out for a week with food poisoning." My blood ran cold. "But we had assignments. Photocopied sheets. Can you show me?" I pulled out my folder from my locker. She flipped through the pages, and her face went pale. "Take these to the principal, now." The principal asked questions and made copies. A police officer visited school the next week and interviewed some of us. But here's what haunts me. When I talked to kids from other classes, they didn't remember Mr. Henderson. "We never had a sub," they said. "Mrs. Rodriguez was only out a few days." But my whole class remembered him. I still have those assignments in a box in my parents' attic. Sometimes I think about digging them up, looking at them again. It's something I struggle to shake. I catch myself glancing over my shoulder whenever I see an older man in a brown jacket. The fact that adults dismissed it still chills me. I never felt safe on that campus again. I never found out what he was planning to do with all that information about us. And honestly, I don't think I want to know. My name is Alex Rivera and I lived in Cedar Valley. I'm not trying to sound crazy here. But I need to tell someone about what happened in my senior year chemistry class. Maybe you'll think I'm making this up, but I swear everything I'm about to tell you really happened. I was enrolled in advanced chemistry with Mr. Torres, a veteran teacher of over 20 years. Students said his class was an easy A if you followed the rules and didn't ask too many questions. It was perfect for me, since I needed the credit to graduate. My lab partner was Sarah Martinez. She was meticulous, always double-checking measurements and reading safety instructions. Her notebooks were pristine, and she never missed a detail. The first few weeks were uneventful. We mixed baking soda with vinegar, observed flame tests, and practiced titrations. The lab smelled of sulfur and ammonia, but it was all routine. Still remember the fluorescent lights flickering and how the polished countertops reflected our nervous faces. The clang of metal tongs against glassware echoed ominously, and the scent of acids lingered around each station. I felt a growing tension in my chest, like something invisible pressed against my lungs. It was as though the laboratory itself was alive, watching us work. Then one afternoon, Mr. Torres unlocked a supply closet and brought out unmarked bottles. I asked what they were, and he said they were advanced compounds for college prep. The labels had chemical names I'd never seen. Sarah requested the safety data sheets, but he insisted they were standard and promised to share the details later. We accepted his answer and continued. In October, right after my sister's birthday, I arrived with frosting under my nails. We were working with a clear liquid from one of those bottles. Sarah followed every protocol, goggles on, gloves snug. 10 minutes in, she paused and frowned. "I feel dizzy," she whispered. Her voice shook, and her pupils were unusually large. She stared at the whiteboard formulas and whispered, "Do you hear that? The equations are talking." I heard only the hum of the fume hood. He rushed over, took the beaker, and announced, "Just a mild allergic reaction. Nurse's office now." His tone was firm but worried. In the hallway, I overheard his hushed phone call. "Reaction stronger than expected. Document all details." His voice was clinical, as if discussing an experiment. Sarah missed 2 weeks of school. When she returned, she was changed. Quiet, compliant, never asking questions. When I looked at Sarah, it felt like I was staring at a stranger wearing her face. Her eyes were empty, her laughter gone. The bright spark she once had was replaced by a hollow compliance that chilled me more than any chemical ever could. I tried asking what she remembered. She said only that she felt sick, and that was all she could recall. That's when I began watching Mr. Torres more closely. He carried a small notebook during labs and scribbled constantly. One day, I glimpsed his notes. My name was followed by baseline response within expected range. Sarah's page included heightened sensitivity to compound 7 and memory suppression successful. The phrase, memory suppression, sent chills down my spine. I noticed other students changing too. Jake, once fidgety, became calm. Emma, who argued with teachers, became obedient. The locked supply closet had a small window. I climbed up and saw bottles labeled Compound X47 and Subject Compliance Enhancer. The labels looked professionally printed. I snapped a photo, but later it was too blurry to read. It was as though my hands shook when I needed them steady. I remember the bitterness of the metal taste from the beakers, the cold touch of the glass, and how my heartbeat echoed in my ears every time I heard the lid click shut. Those details are branded in my memory like scars. Mr. Torres's gaze during experiments felt predatory, like a scientist observing lab rats rather than a teacher guiding students. I wanted to tell someone, parents, principal, anyone, but feared being dismissed or triggering an investigation that would tip him off. Sarah and I graduated. She moved on to college but remained distant. At graduation, I asked about that lab day, and she stared blankly, clueless about what I meant. I held onto the blurry photo for months, hoping to decode it, but eventually I deleted it, telling myself I was overreacting. I wake up at night, heart pounding, convinced I still smell solvents and hear whispers of formulas. The memory of that class haunts me like a warning. Knowledge can be weaponized by those we trust, and I wonder, if I hadn't paid attention, would I have become just another entry in that notebook? I share this now hoping someone else will believe me. I need to tell someone about this because it's been eating at me for months now. I can't sleep right anymore. Every time I close my eyes, I see his face and that calm expression when everything went down. I worked evenings on the high school cleanup crew for gas money. My mom's car breaks down all the time. The job seemed simple. Empty trash, wipe whiteboards, mop floors. Mr. Garrett was the head custodian, quiet and hunched, with thick glasses magnifying his eyes. He nodded when our shifts overlapped, but rarely spoke. I assumed he just kept to himself, but he was always in the computer lab. Every night I worked, he sat there for hours. The door was closed and lights dim. Once I asked what he was doing, he claimed deep cleaning keyboards. I figured keyboards get filthy, but I never saw him clean anything. I only saw him hunched over a laptop, clicking and typing. Sometimes, he had multiple USB drives plugged in. I assumed he updated software. I knew nothing about computers. My buddy Jake always left his charger in that lab. One night I returned after my shift to fetch it. The main doors were locked. I had emergency keys. The hallway lights were half off to save electricity. My sneakers squeaked on the polished floor. I hate that sound. It reminds me of hospitals. I passed the computer lab and heard rapid clicking. Mr. Garrett's car remained in the lot. The door was ajar. I peered inside. He sat at a student computer with 3 USB drives attached. The screen showed a girl's Facebook page. Not his, but Sarah's from chemistry class. He clicked through her photos. Then he opened a desktop folder and dragged images into it. His focus was intense, like this was critical. Filing cabinets loomed behind him. I never noticed them before. They looked oversized for maintenance supplies. I should have left immediately. Instead, I stayed frozen. He glanced at the door nervously. Then he switched to another account. Another student's profile appeared. He knew everyone's passwords. I could barely remember mine. He took screenshots, copied files, organized them in folders. My phone buzzed, with a text from my mom. The sudden noise snapped me out of my trance. I bumped the door, and it creaked. He looked up and smiled calmly. "Oh, hey there," he said, as if nothing was wrong. He invited me inside. My legs felt heavy, though I wanted to run. He turned the laptop toward me. It displayed private Instagram DMs, messages about family drama and personal secrets. "Kids think it's private, but I observe them," he said. He clicked to reveal a girl cutting herself. Photos she sent to her boyfriend laid bare. He opened a cabinet filled with printed screenshots and photos, hundreds of pages piled neatly in folders. "I've done this 7 years," he said proudly. Over 300 students cataloged. He flipped through records of text, posts, grades. "This one planned to run away," he explained. "This one's parents are divorcing secretly." The tone was clinical, not creepy but chilling. He analyzed behavioral patterns like a scientist. I finally whispered, "Why do you do this?" He looked surprised by the question. "Because it's fascinating to see their authentic selves," he replied. He continued revealing private details and psychological observations. My mind raced with fear and disbelief. I don't remember leaving, only that I needed to escape. I mumbled an excuse about going home. He nodded and returned to his work. I never reported him. Who would believe such a story? I was afraid he knew about me too. I quit the job the next week under the pretense of focusing on grades. But I still see him pushing his cart in hallways. He nods and smiles that same calm smile. I wonder how many more secrets he's collected, how many more files he has in those cabinets. The worst part is knowing he's still there, watching, collecting pieces of everyone's private lives, one screenshot at a time. I keep this secret to myself. I'm haunted by knowing what lurks behind locked doors. Sometimes I wake with terrible sweat, replaying his voice and those files piled high. If someone doesn't stop him, I fear his next future discoveries. I gotta tell you this wild story about my old roommate, Jake. It's been a while, but it still messes with my head. I'm just some dude, you know? Work a boring job unloading trucks all day, nothing special. It's backbreaking work, lifting heavy boxes, sweating like crazy, and by the time I get home, I'm wiped. Me and Jake shared this rundown apartment, peeling paint, creaky floors, the works. The place was a dump, but it was cheap, and I needed someone to split the rent with. Jake answered my ad, seemed normal enough. He was chill at first, or so I thought. We'd hang out sometimes, watch dumb action movies, or he'd help me fix the leaky faucet. Said he worked nights at some security gig, so we barely crossed paths. I'd be crashing when he left, and he'd roll in as I was heading out. Worked fine, I guess. The apartment was on the second floor of this old building. The stairs creaked like crazy, and the hallway always smelled like mildew. My room was at the end of the hall, and Jake's was across from mine. There was a small living room with a couch that sagged in the middle, and a kitchen that was barely big enough for one person. The basement was the worst part. Dark, damp, and smelled like something died down there. I avoided it like the plague. But then, stuff started getting weird. Like I'd grab a pizza, eat half, and the next day, it'd be gone. Not just a slice, whole thing. I'd think, man, am I that hungry and forgetting? Then my keys. They'd be on the hook by the door, but I'd find them under the couch or something. One time, I found my toothbrush in the kitchen sink. Swear to God. Dumb little things, right? I blamed it on being tired. Work was kicking my ass, and the coffee maker was on the fritz, so I was running on fumes. It got creepier though. One night, I heard this scratching sound, like nails on wood. Figured it was the stray cat that hung around, 'cause the floorboards always groaned when it bolted across. But it kept happening, late, when Jake was at work. I'd lie there, eyes open, just listening. Then my diary, yeah, I keep one, don't judge, showed up on my pillow one day. I know I stashed it in my sock drawer. That's when I freaked. Was someone sneaking in? The lock was crap, so I ordered this cheap camera online. Set it up in the living room, didn't tell Jake, didn't want to look nuts. A few days later, my buddy Mike came over. We were gonna watch the game, but he kept glancing around, like something was off. "Dude, you hear that?" he whispered. I didn't hear anything, but he swore there was a faint humming coming from the basement. I shrugged it off, but it stuck with me. That night, I checked the camera footage. Holy hell, it's Jake. Not at work. Nah. He'd leave at night, then sneak back after like 20 minutes. He'd head straight to the basement. That place was nasty, damp, dark, smelled like old socks. But there he was, down there all day. Then, when I was out cold, he'd creep upstairs, going through my stuff, flipping through my diary, sitting on my bed, watching me sleep. I'm shaking just watching this, heart hammering like crazy. He's in a security uniform, but it's fake. Found out he got canned months ago. I couldn't just let it slide. Next morning, he stumbles in, and I'm sitting there, coffee cold in my hands. "Hey, Jake. How's the job going?" I say, voice all shaky. He yawns, shrugs. "Fine. Same old." I swallow hard. "Really? 'Cause I heard you got canned months ago." He freezes. Face goes white as a sheet. "Well, what? Who said that?" "Doesn't matter." "Is it true?" He flops on the couch, head in his hands. Yeah, it's true. Lost the job ages ago. Didn't want to tell you. Felt like a loser. I'm pissed, but my voice cracks. "So why you hiding in the basement? Why you messing with my stuff? Watching me sleep, man, that's messed up." He looks up, eyes wet. I don't know. I'm sorry. I couldn't deal. It was dumb, okay? I didn't mean to scare you. I wanted to believe him, but I couldn't. "You gotta go, Jake. Pack your crap and get out." He nods, all quiet, and leaves the next day. I switched the locks, but it didn't help. Stuff still felt wrong. Like I'd find a sock I swore I'd washed back in the hamper, or hear that damn scratching again. One night, I'm half asleep, and there's this thud from the basement. I grab a flashlight, legs like jelly, and creep down. Nothing's there, just that wet, rotten stink hitting me hard. I noped out fast, moved out a month later, couldn't take it. I still wonder about Jake. What was he doing down there? Why me? I never checked the basement again. Too chicken shit. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe not. Keeps me up sometimes thinking about it. Anyway, that's my story. Watch your back, yeah? You never really know who's living with you. My name is Kevin. Yeah, I guess I'll just dive in. I'm not good at telling stories, so bear with me, okay? I used to live in this little apartment. Nothing fancy, just a cheap place with creaky floors and a tiny kitchen. My cat, Muffin, used to chase shadows across the room at night, her little paws tapping on the wood. Kinda cute, but it'd wake me up sometimes. Anyway, I'm just a regular dude. Work a boring job, come home, eat some ramen, you know the drill. About a year ago, I got a roommate. His name was Kevin too, which was weird at first. We'd laugh about it like, "Hey Kev, pass the salt." And he'd say, "Which Kev you talking to?" He seemed cool though. Quiet guy, paid rent on time, always there to listen when I'd ramble about my day. I thought, man, this guy's a good friend. But things started getting strange. It started small. Like I'd leave my phone on the counter while I showered, and when I came back, I'd find texts sent to my buddies. Dumb stuff like, "You're a jerk," or "I don't want to hang out anymore." I'd call them up, all confused, like, "Dude, I didn't send that." They'd get mad, stop talking to me. Kevin would just sit there sipping his coffee saying, "Man, that sucks. People are so flaky." I'd nod, feeling like an idiot. Then I started feeling off. Tired all the time, head foggy like I couldn't think straight. Kevin kept pointing it out. "Hey, you okay? You look shaky? Maybe you're stressed or something?" He'd go on about anxiety, depression, all this stuff I never thought about before. I'd say, "Nah, I'm fine." But he'd keep pushing, like, "No man, I see it. You should talk to someone." I started doubting myself. Maybe he was right? One night, I woke up, middle of the night, pitch black, and my body felt heavy, like I'd been hit by a truck. I could barely move. I heard Kevin in the kitchen, clinking dishes or something. Next morning I asked, "Were you up late?" He just shrugged, said, "Nope, slept like a baby." But I swore I heard him. My coffee tasted weird that day too. Bitter, kinda chalky. I didn't think much of it, just figured the milk went bad. Things got worse. My friends stopped texting back completely. My girlfriend, ex-girlfriend now, dumped me after getting some creepy message from my phone. I'd leave it on the couch for 5 minutes, and boom, another fight. Kevin was always there after, patting my shoulder saying, "She didn't deserve you, man. I'm here for you." I'd mumble a thanks, but something about his voice. It sounded too calm, you know? One day, I came home early. The apartment was quiet. Too quiet. Muffin was hiding under the couch, which she never does. I walked past Kevin's room, and his door was cracked open. I peeked in, couldn't help it, and saw him sitting on his bed, hunched over a notebook. He was muttering to himself, scribbling fast. I cleared my throat and he snapped the book shut, grinning at me like, "Oh hey, didn't hear you come in." I asked what he was writing. He said, "Just work stuff," but his hands were shaky. I let it slide, didn't want to push it. Couldn't sleep that night. Kept hearing this faint hum, like a voice, but not quite, coming from his room. I got up, tiptoed to the hall, and pressed my ear to his door. He was whispering. Next phase, trust broken, increased dosage. I froze. Dosage. What the hell? I backed off, heart thumping, and locked my door. Next day, I pretended everything was normal. Ate breakfast, laughed at his dumb jokes. But when he left for work, I snooped. Found a box under his bed. Old files, notebooks, a recorder. One folder had my name on it. Inside, pages about me. My fears. Stuff I'd told him late at night, like how I hate being alone. There were notes. Subject shows, signs of confusion, meds working. Meds? Then I saw more folders, other names, other projects, photos of people I didn't know, timelines of their breakdowns. My hands wouldn't stop trembling. I grabbed Muffin and bolted. Left everything. Clothes, dishes. Didn't care. Moved in with a cousin. Blocked Kevin's number. But a week later, I got a voicemail. No caller ID. It was him, laughing soft, saying, "You're a fun one. See you around." I deleted it, but I still hear that laugh sometimes, when it's quiet. I don't know what he wanted. Control? Some sick game? The apartment's empty now, last I heard. I drive a different way home these days, just in case. Muffin still hides sometimes, and I wonder if she remembers him too. I gotta tell you about this wild thing that went down with my old roommate, Marcus. I'm just some dude, okay? Work a boring job at a tech place. Live in this rundown apartment with creaky floors and a fridge that hums too loud. The rent was cheap, so I needed someone to split it with. Marcus answered my ad. Seemed chill at first, quiet, paid on time, even fixed the wobbly table leg once. But the dude was always burning his toast. Kitchen smelled like a campfire gone wrong every morning. At first it was fine. We'd hang out sometimes, watch old kung fu movies or whatever. But then, I don't know, things got weird. One night I got home late from grabbing coffee. Must have been like 7 p.m. And Marcus goes, "Hey, how was the coffee shop? Get your latte?" I froze. How'd you know I was there?" He just grinned, all awkward, and said, "Saw your car outside." But that place is miles away. No way he just saw it. I brushed it off, told myself I was overthinking it. People say stuff, right? But it kept happening. I'd call my buddy about some dumb work thing, and next day Marcus is like, "Your friend's still mad about his boss?" I never told him that. My heart started racing every time he opened his mouth. I'd be cooking dinner, spaghetti usually, 'cause I'm lazy, and I'd hear the floorboards creak behind me. My cat would bolt across the room at night, and those creaks would wake me up. I'd peek out my door. Nothing. Just shadows. I started thinking maybe I was paranoid. Then it got creepier. I posted a pic on Instagram, me at the park, just chilling by the lake. Marcus comes home and goes, "That trail by the water looked nice. Did you see any ducks?" I didn't even mention the trail. My hands got all sweaty. "How'd you know that?" I asked. He laughed, too loud, and said, "Oh, just a guess." But his eyes were weird. Like he was hiding something. One night, I couldn't sleep. My neighbor's dog was barking like crazy outside, driving me nuts. I got up to close the window and figured I'd scroll my phone. That's when I saw it. Marcus's laptop was open on the couch. I know I shouldn't have looked, but I did. There were folders, with my name. Screenshots of every post I'd ever made. Even dumb stories about my lunch. He had pics from my friends' pages too, stuff I was tagged in. Fake accounts with no pics following my sister, my co-workers. My chest felt tight. I wanted to puke. I didn't say anything at first. Too freaked out. I mean, what if he lost it? I started locking my door at night, kept my phone close. Then, a few days later, I'm at this burger joint with friends. Posted a check-in on Facebook, 'cause the fries were killer. Halfway through my meal, Marcus walks in. "Hey, what a coincidence," he says, all cheery. I just stared. "Why are you here?" He shrugged. "Just hungry. Small world, huh?" Number no way. I checked my phone later. He'd been tracking me. Some app we both used had my location on. I turned it off, hands shaking. It didn't stop. My ex called me one day, out of nowhere. Said some guy, my roommate, Messaged him, asking about our breakup. Said he was worried about me. Marcus, digging into my past like some psycho. I felt naked, you know? Like he'd ripped my life open. I snapped. Marcus, what the hell? Why are you stalking me? I yelled. He started crying, big, messy sobs. Said he was lonely, that he just wanted to be my friend. If I knew everything, we'd be close, he said. It was so messed up. I told him to get out. He begged, promised he'd stop, but I couldn't even look at him. He left a week later, dragging his stuff out while I watched from my room. But it's not over. I still see his car sometimes, parked down the street from work. I get random friend requests from blank profiles. Is it him? I don't know. I moved, changed my locks, but when it's quiet at night, when the fridge hums or the floor creaks, I feel like he's still there, watching, waiting. I don't think I'll ever shake it.